everyone, and welcome to a new video where we are going to discover all the animals hidden inside the box. Here we can already see a big Stegosaurus in the middle of the forest, probably looking for some vegetation to eat. To expand the information, we'll use the Great Book of Dinosaurs. You already know that I love to use it, since inside we have a lot of interesting information. Here we have Styracosaurus, Otis. We also have a photograph with the fossil remains of its skull, where we can see that it was shaped like a crown, and the large spikes and horns it had on the upper outer part. Super cool. We can even see this illustration where two specimens are fighting each other. They're probably males fighting to impress the females. Now, let's open our box to see everything that's hidden inside. It looks like there are a lot of things inside. And look, I see a lot of dinosaurs, but also a flying reptile, a marine reptile, dinosaurs from the Jurassic period, and even a few marine animals. So let's take them all out to learn their names and their characteristics. Let's see which one comes out first. And here we have a flying reptile. It flies out of its box towards us. Look. It's characterized by having a super long beak and a horn on the back of its head. Its name is Pteranodon. Its wingspan in the air was impressive. It could reach about 2 meters in length. Also, as you can see in the figure, its body was quite slim and thin, which allowed it to reach great heights and speed while flying. According to experts, its body was very similar to that of modern bats, but obviously of a gigantic size. I like the figure because it's articulated, so we can put it in different poses and positions. This flying reptile mainly fed on fish, so it always flew over river and sea areas in search of food. Another interesting fact is that it had a large pouch under its beak, very similar to that of pelicans, to hide. So, by storing food, it flies towards the tip of our volcano, and we leave it here. Let's create a real Jurassic World. Let's continue with another one. It's about a dinosaur that had a long neck. There were different species, however. I think the one we have here is the great Brachiosaurus. It was known for its long neck and enormous size. It was a giant among giants that could reach approximately 24 meters in length. In addition, it had front legs that were longer than its hind legs, as we can see in this figure, since this way it could support the weight of its long neck. However, its head was very small compared to the rest of its body, and it needed tons of food every day to feed itself. And look, we're going to bring out a very different animal. Subscribe! Also, I love its texture. It's one of those you can squish and even stretch, although I'm a little afraid to stretch it too much in case it breaks. As you can see, it's pretty inflated and the inside is filled with Orbeez beads. It looks like they're a transparent color. It's a big orca. I don't know if you know this, but orcas are the biggest predators that currently exist in the ocean. Here in this figure, we have it in blue and white on the underside. But you already know that orcas are actually black and white. That is, everything we see in blue would actually be black. We can see its large jaw. It's even capable of eating a whale. Here we can see its dorsal fin, its side fins, and its long tail, which it moves very quickly to swim, and, above all, to catch its prey. Impressive! Also, the orca is related to both the whale and the dolphin, and that's why it also loves to make big jumps. Seeing it free in the wild must be an amazing visual spectacle, although you already know that it's best for animals to be free and not in zoos or aquariums. Let's see. Let's continue with another one. Now, we do have a dinosaur, a very famous one known for the horns on its head. It's the great Carnotaurus, one of the largest carnivores that ever existed. Also, this one has just been born, as you can see, breaking out of its eggshell, and there's even some liquid coming out here. From the inside, we can see that it had a small crest of spikes running along the entire dorsal part of its body. According to experts, it used these horns to charge powerfully and blind its opponents. What I like most about this figure is that on the bottom, it has a speaker, and if we press it, we can hear its roar. But the best part is that it also has colored lights. So let's turn off the lights to check it out. We continue finding new animals. Over here, I'm seeing a gigantic figure. I think it's the biggest one inside the box, and it's a very famous and well-known herbivorous dinosaur. I'm sure all of you have heard about it. It's the great Triceratops, known for its big head. As you can see, it had a crown-shaped skull with small spikes along the top. But the most distinctive feature was the 3 horns on its head, which it used to defend itself by charging powerfully. In addition, we can see a strong and large beak that was also shaped like a hook. It used it to dig in the ground in search of food, something that was characteristic of some herbivores. As you can see, it was a 4-legged animal that lived on Earth during the Cretaceous period. What caught my attention the most about this figure is that the tongue, the eyes, and the 3 horns all come in a transparent tone. So let's see if they have any special color. Let's press the switch to see what it does. Wow. In this one, a pretty shrill roar. Also, it's able to walk on its own. On its own? Honestly, friends, it's pretty cool, although I think the roar is a bit too loud. Let's turn it off. Oof, too loud? And now let's keep bringing out new animals. And coming out of our box is a small carnivorous dinosaur called Velociraptor. The Velociraptor has always been a main character in some of the dinosaur movies. Also, as you know, it's a dinosaur that didn't weigh too much. It was quite slim and thin, and therefore, it could run at great speed. That allowed it to catch large prey, combined with the fact that they also hunted in groups or packs. So unity made them stronger. Though it wasn't very big, it could catch large animals, such as the great Triceratops. It was bipedal, moving quickly on its hind legs. Its front legs were also quite long, and it used them to grab its prey, or even to help bring food to its mouth. Here we can see its jaw, which luckily is articulated, and we can expose its sharp teeth. Something very important about the Velociraptor was its tail. It was quite long and very thin at the tip, and it used it to change direction when it was running.
Here we have only a few animals left to see, but this time we have an animal that is prehistoric.
This is the great Dimetrodon. Its body is very similar to that of modern lizards, but much larger in size. The Dimetrodon, as you can see, was characterized by having a large crest of spines. It could both swim in the water and walk on land. Its jaw was very strong and powerful. The teeth were not very sharp. They were rather thick, but they had great strength. As you can see, it has 4 short legs, but a long tail. I like the figure because it's super big, and it's also soft. We can squish it, and that lets us move both the head and the legs and the tail. It was a top predator. And now we have the last animal left to see, which, as you can see, it's a marine reptile. I'm fascinated by the figure. It's very detailed. Also, as you can see, it has a lot of colors and a different texture depending on the part of its body. Its tail wasn't very long, although, as you can see, it was very thin at the tip, and it used it to swim. The most characteristic feature was its long neck, which also comes articulated in 1, 2, 3 parts. Tamine. We can move the jaw by opening it and revealing all the details, both of its tongue and its palate. This marine reptile is called Tanistropeus. As you can see, it moves its neck. If we press the tail, let's leave it with its jaw open like this. Yes, look, let's move the tail so it also moves its head. Super cool! And now we've finished today's video. Here we have a real Jurassic World, except for the orca, which is an animal that we actually have in our reality today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a super like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. Now, goodbye to you all. See you in the next video with more amazing animals. Goodbye, subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new video where we continue exploring information about all the dinosaurs. As before, we'll use the Book of Amazing Dinosaurs. I've also suggested that each video covers a rare dinosaur. We usually talk about the same dinosaurs, but we are going to discover new types. For example, today we will talk about this dinosaur that has the scientific name of Coelopacus. We have the name at the top. It shows it was a carnivorous dinosaur that ate reptiles, amphibians, and flying insects. Its name means hollow shape, and as you can see, it was very thin. It could weigh up to 28 kilograms, reach about 3 meters long, and stand 1.5 meters tall. As you can see, its neck was slightly long, and its mouth had teeth that, although they were not very large, as you can see, they were quite sharp, to be able to eat the meat that it put in its mouth. It was bipedal, with two-toed front legs, just like Tyrannosaurus rex. Let's start listing these dinosaur types. We have herbivores and carnivores. First, we'll begin with the herbivorous dinosaur. As you can see, this one is known for its skull shape. It's the famous Pachycephalosaurus. Its skull was as hard as a rock, and it used it defensively by giving big headbutts. In addition, it also used to engage in battles with other specimens of the same species. It also had horns or spikes on its head. It was bipedal and, like other herbivorous dinosaurs, had a strong beak to dig for food. As you can see, it had a long tail. Let's see what's next. Want to talk about the famous Tyrannosaurus rex? I'm sure you all know a lot of information about it. I also really like this figurine because of its colors. It comes in a fiery red color, and also with lots of gold-colored details. It had an enormous jaw. Its head alone could reach more than 1.5 meters in length, and it had a total of 60 sharp teeth. As you know, it was a two-legged dinosaur. Its front legs were tiny, and this figure already shows a major mistake. See, its front legs each have 3 toes. However, we all know that the Tyrannosaurus rex only had 2 toes, so this is a mistake in the figure. It's great we can appreciate these details. Let's try another one. How about we see the great Triceratops? One of the most famous dinosaurs, as many fossils of this herbivorous species have been discovered over time. It ate plants, leaves, and grass. It had 3 large horns on its head. The upper horns could exceed a meter long. Its skull was crown-shaped. It was also a 4-legged dinosaur. This Triceratops could easily confront a large Tyrannosaurus rex or other big carnivores, especially since Triceratops lived in herds. When a carnivore attacked, they grouped together to defend themselves. So they were stronger together? Let's move on to another carnivorous dinosaur. This time we have one of the oldest and longest lived. It lived in the Jurassic period more than 155 million years ago. According to paleontologists, it was one of the first large carnivores found. As you can see, it was known for the large crests on its head. In addition, an interesting detail is that depending on the shape of the crests, it was possible to know if it was a male or a female. It had a large jaw. It could reach about 6 meters in length and approximately 2 meters in height, that is to say, it was a little taller than an average human. It also had a jaw that wasn't too big but with very sharp teeth. It was bipedal and used its front legs to grab and eat meat. Look, one of its legs has fallen off, and that's because these little figures, as you know, are the kind that we can assemble and disassemble. Let's see, I'm going to try to put it back on. I've finally done it. It took me some time, but now we're doing something fun. What do you think of making a dinosaur combo? We can remove the head of this carnivorous dinosaur and swap it, for example, with the Triceratops. What do you think? We just have to swap their heads and look, what a strange mutant dinosaur this is. We've got a Triceratops head on, a bipedal carnivorous dinosaur. And now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to put the body of the Triceratops on this carnivorous dinosaur. Look how strange it looks, but I love that. We can create mutant dinosaurs and make many combinations. We'll leave them here and continue with another different one. This time we have a long-necked dinosaur. It's a Brachiosaurus, a giant among giants that inhabited planet Earth in the Jurassic period more than 200 million years ago. Its head was much smaller than its body. Today we have giraffes with long necks, though they're not as large as ancient long-necked dinosaurs. Let's continue with another impressive dinosaur. It's a feathered dinosaur called Pterosaur. Look, we can open its jaw. It also ate meat. It had long feathers, especially on the back of its head and on its bushy tail. Impressive, right? The dinosaur was cool, and I like the figure's colors. Another one here. There are still many dinosaurs to learn about. Here we have another very famous dinosaur. This is the great Stegosaurus, characterized by the large bony plates it had on the upper part of its body. Its head was very small for its body, and it was quadrupedal, with hind legs slightly larger than the front. Additionally, this dinosaur had large spikes at the tip, though they're not visible in this figure. It might not be a Stegosaurus but another related dinosaur without spikes at the tip. I don't know, friends, maybe some of you do know. I'll look for more information about this type of dinosaur. Let's move on to another herbivorous dinosaur. This is one of my favorites. It is the great Ankylosaurus. It had a large tail, which it waved side to side to defend against predators. Its whole body resembled a suit of armor. The upper part was almost unbreakable. It had very thick skin, and was also covered in spikes all over the upper part, as well as on the sides of its head. Another one over here. Let's look at a large carnivore now. Because of its large crest, we already know that it was a large Spinosaurus. It could reach about 16 meters in length. In addition, Spinosaurus loved to dive into the water, which is why it also liked to eat marine animals. It typically submerged itself to stay hidden from animals and hunt more effectively. Its jaw was long, wide, and had sharp teeth. As I was saying, it submerged itself but kept a large crest of spines exposed. That's why it was also called the sail-backed dinosaur. We'll stop here and meet the two small velociraptors, carnivorous dinosaurs that, although they weren't very big, were capable of catching large prey since they hunted in packs or groups. Here we have two examples of them. We have one in light blue and the other in purple, green and black. I think I like this one better. Look, they also had a mouth full of sharp teeth. They were fast-running dinosaurs that used their long tails to quickly change direction. That brings us to the final dinosaur, Parasaurolophus. It lived on Earth during the Cretaceous period over 65 million years ago. As you can see, it was known for the horn on the back of its head. It used it to make sounds and communicate with the herd, especially when a predator attacked. And now friends, we are done with today's video. Here we have all the dinosaurs that we have met. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, please give me a super like or thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. This way, you help me keep creating content for you all. And now I say goodbye, see you in the next video with more impressive dinosaurs. Goodbye, a big kiss, Mew.